When Elon Musk tweets funding secured and faces SEC charges, is he just being reckless? Or is there a calculated business strategy behind how billionaire entrepreneurs handle legal warfare?
Federal regulators want Elon Musk removed as chairman and CEO of automaker Tesla. Musk is accused of securities fraud. In a complaint filed today in Manhattan federal court, the Securities and Exchange Commission alleges Musk falsely claimed on Twitter he had secured funding to take the company private. It says Musk had not confirmed key terms of the deal, including price. Musk calls the SEC action unjustified. In after-hours trading, Tesla's stock was down 12%.
Most people see lawsuits and regulatory charges as pure damage controls, something to settle quickly, quietly, and at the lowest possible cost. But in the upper tiers of business, some leaders treat legal challenges as part of the competitive game. Sometimes the courtroom becomes just another boardroom, except the stakes are higher, and every move sends a message to investors, competitors, regulators, and the public. Today on Due Process Daily, we're breaking down 3 massive examples where high-profile legal defenses were as much about business strategy as they were about law. Elon Musk versus the SEC, Meta's defense during the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and Uber's legal wars under Travis Kalanick. Each of these cases shows us not just how to survive legal trouble, but how to use it as a weapon or shield for the business. So let's get into it. First, the big picture. Most entrepreneurs view legal problems as business problems. The thinking is simple. Legal trouble is bad for business, so you want it over fast, but there's another way to look at it. Legal battles can also be competitive battlegrounds. If you manage them right, you can protect your core business, shape public perception, and even gain leverage over competitors. That's the mindset we're exploring here. And it's built on 4 pillars. Pillar 1, public narrative control. This is the ability to set the storyline people believe, even before the facts are settled. Public opinion often matters more than the actual verdict. Pillar 2, honest timeline manipulation. Legal battles can be stretched out to buy time for the business to recover, adapt, or get stronger, or they can be wrapped up quickly when a clean break is better. Pillar 3, stakeholder management, and that means keeping investors, employees, customers, and partners on your side, even if the legal picture looks bad. Pillar 4, operational continuity, the ability to keep the business running smoothly, despite the distraction and drain of a high-stakes legal fight. With that framework in mind, let's start with case study 1, Elon Musk versus the SEC. In 2018, Musk tweeted, "Am considering taking Tesla private at $420 funding secured." The SEC didn't see that as a casual remark. They saw it as market manipulation. The agency charged him with securities fraud, saying the tweet misled investors and moved Tesla's stock price without a proper basis. From the outside, it looked like a self-inflicted wound. Why poke the SEC when you're running a company worth billions? But Musk's legal defense was also a business strategy. First, narrative control. Musk framed it as a fight between a visionary innovator and an overreaching government. This wasn't about a misleading tweet. In his telling, it was about protecting bold ideas from bureaucratic strangulation. That narrative resonated with a lot of Tesla fans and investors. Second, timeline strategy. Musk fought back hard at first, avoiding any admission of wrongdoing and trying to keep the SEC from forcing major operational changes. That bought Tesla time to stabilize production and reassure markets. Third, stakeholder management. Despite the legal mess, Musk kept his board largely supportive. Investors were reassured by Tesla's delivery numbers and stock performance, which stayed strong enough to weather the storm. Fourth, operational impact. Tesla didn't slow down. While lawyers handled the SEC, the company pushed forward with Model 3 production and new projects. The message? Tesla wasn't going to let legal drama dictate its business pace. The lesson here, when to settle versus when to fight, is as much a business decision as a legal one. Musk eventually settled, paying a fine, stepping down as board chair for 3 years, but keeping the CEO role. The cost of defiance was real, but so was the value of projecting independence and strength. Now, case study 2, Meta during the Cambridge Analytica scandal. In 2018, it came out that a political consulting firm had accessed data from tens of millions of Facebook users without their consent. It turned into a global firestorm. Regulatory investigations, class action lawsuits, and even congressional hearings. Meta's legal strategy had to be coordinated with a massive PR crisis plan. First, narrative strategy. Mark Zuckerberg's line was, "We're learning and improving," not "we screwed up massively." They admitted certain failures, but framed them as growing pains in the evolution of the platform not systemic corruption. Second, legal compartmentalization. The company settled some cases quickly to stop the bleeding, while fighting others in court to avoid setting broad liability precedents. Third, business continuity. While the headlines were brutal, Meta's growth engine didn't stop. They kept adding users and expanding ad revenue, showing advertisers and Wall Street that the platform's core business wasn't collapsing. Fourth, regulatory strategy. They rolled out new privacy controls and transparency tools, some of which were likely designed as legal shields in future cases. By acting proactively, they could argue they were already fixing the issues, making heavier regulation less necessary. The business outcome. Meta's stock price initially took a hit, but they recovered over time. Advertisers stuck around, partly because users didn't leave in large numbers. The user trust issue never fully disappeared, but Meta contained the damage enough to keep the machine running. Lesson: in the digital age, a privacy scandal doesn't have to kill a platform. But you need a clear playbook for managing the legal, regulatory, and PR fronts all at once. Now, case study 3, Uber under Travis Kalanick. Uber's legal challenges were unlike anything most companies have seen. They fought regulators in city after city, faced lawsuits over whether drivers were employees or contractors, dealt with sexual harassment allegations inside the company, and battled Google's Waymo over alleged theft of self-driving car technology. The growth at all costs strategy defined Uber's approach. They expanded into new markets before regulators could react. And if a city tried to shut them down, they'd mobilize riders and drivers to push back politically. Legal delays became a business weapon. By dragging out lawsuits, Uber gained more time to build market dominance, making it harder for regulators to roll them back. But here's the flip side. When legal strategy conflicts with business strategy, something has to give. Uber's aggressive tactics created enemies and burned bridges, especially with regulators who felt disrespected. Internal scandals, particularly the harassment cases, also hurt their reputation with both the public and potential hires. Eventually, the board decided the best legal move was a leadership change. Kalanick stepped down, and under new CEO Dara Khosrowshahi, Uber shifted towards settlements and a more cooperative posture. They still fought for their core business model, like keeping drivers as contractors, but they were more selective about battles. Lesson: an aggressive legal strategy can buy time and market share, but it can also backfire if it damages long-term relationships with regulators, employees, and the public. So, what can entrepreneurs, even those without billions in the bank, take from all this? First, prevention beats reaction. Building legal moats into your business model, whether through compliance, contracts, or IP protection, and is far cheaper than scrambling after trouble hits. Second, communication strategy matters. You have multiple audiences: regulators, customers, investors, employees. Sometimes silence is the smart move. Other times being transparent builds trust faster. Third, resource allocation. Think of legal spend as an investment when it protects the business's core revenue, not just as a cost. Fourth, team building. Your legal team should be strategic partners, not just firefighters. Choosing the right external counsel is a competitive advantage. And finally, the red flags. Don't treat legal problems as purely legal. Don't go radio silent with stakeholders when legal trouble hits. Don't pinch pennies when the survival of your business model is at stake. And don't let personal ego drive legal strategy. If you run a business, you might never face the scale of legal war that Musk, Meta, or Uber did, but the principles still apply. Use legal strategy to protect your business, control your narrative, and make sure the company keeps running no matter what happens in court. Thanks for joining us today at Due Process Daily. Throw us a like and consider subscribing to the channel to help us grow.